inside Burma, media is totally controlled by the military junta. There's no possibility for the people to have access to. So the Norwegian government decided to set up this radio station. In 2005, we started satellite television. Nowadays, we estimate about 10 million Burmese people have access to satellite television. All these 10 million people are our potential viewers.
Well, we started off on a very broad note that we wanted to make a film on Burma. And pretty soon we realized that if we made a film ourselves, we tried to go in ourselves as a normal Western crew, the film will be about all the difficulties that we would have and eventually be about the crew itself. So when I realized that just next door from me, I'm in Copenhagen, next door to me in Oslo, we had the Democratic Voice of Burma, who actually organized citizen reporters, or reporters inside the country. I was very much intrigued because that opened the country in a whole new way. I would normally use the HD formats, the high-end video formats for my productions. And it's true this time around the film is based on handycams, even on cell phones.
All the equipments are provided by Democratic Voice of Burma. We smuggle all these equipment into the country secretly, through the border routes, and sometimes from other countries we still have a possibility to do that. And through our agents, and in some cases through our own channel. We have to set up our own channel, not just to smuggle this equipment in, but also to get the footage out. In Burma, people don't like the regime. They also know the nature of the business, so they are ready to cooperate with us.
Yeah, we basically made some phone calls to the DVB, and what we were met with was a very big openness and trustfulness, I think, from the side of the DVB. They were very much interested in our project. I think they could see the perspective from the beginning that they can deliver on one level, they can work on the journalistic level, they can supply the day-to-day news, but that the documentary had the chance of offering some more content, some more context also to the material. I think that was understood from the beginning. Well, I was already planning for a little film on our main character Joshua and his day-to-day life as a street reporter in Burma. More or less scripted and ready, you could say, when all of this happened in the middle of production.
Right.
So of course we had to readjust the whole project. Suddenly I couldn't just follow my own artistic ambitions about this little film. We were suddenly actually chroniclers of world history, because we were the only people in the world who would have all this footage at hand, who would be able to document the uprising. So there was a dilemma. You're an artist, but you also have this obligation to deliver the chronicle that the world needs. You need to root all this footage in people and characters in order to understand what it's all about, in order to have the intellectual and emotional perspective to what you're seeing.
Right.
And that's what Joshua beautifully offers in many ways. He's crucial to the story.
I must say we were just lucky because the technology is there, so that we can at least bring out whatever quality the footage is within a few hours. So that was not the case 20 years ago when there was a big uprising.
In 88, the student uprising, right.
Yeah, in this time around, the internet and other technology is there. So we can cut, the best, not the best, but we don't have time to choose which one is the best of the demonstration in the one tape. So they just cut whatever they can cut within, short period, and they upload to Oslo. So in Oslo, I was the one.
Right.
Distributing in the international media through writers and AP and like that. In some cases, we directly supply to TV channel like CNN, BBC.
Well, fortunately, the DVB had control of satellite phones and that kind of system, which meant that there was still a way out of Burma for this.
Now we anticipate this kind of situation might come anytime. They will cut off all communication. They don't care about the people. They just care information outflow. So we have made investment beforehand. So when they cut off satellite connection, the internet server and telephone communication system, we still can manage to send out this footage out of the country.
At the time of the uprising, was almost entirely guys who were doing this, also out of the traditions of a society like Burma, of who does what. But in fact, the new recruits that are coming along now in a big way, we are talking 80 new recruits, include a lot of girls or women.
Who and what supports the military junta?
From my point of view, the key to change in Burma is China. China is the nation that is carrying the Burmese regime. Simply as, you could say, as the West gradually withdrew because of sanctions and other policies, withdrew from the Burmese economy. The Chinese simply took over, are the big clients of oil and gas, precious stones, timber, all those things, and so China is the key to any influence on the generals.
Yes, that's right. China and India, also Russia, they are supplying weapons. They are backing the regimes politically, and both China and Russia, they are blocking whatever action is taken in the Security Councils because they have veto power. There have been many attempts in the Security Councils to get a binding resolution on Burma so that more action can be taken against the regime, but this still did not happen because of China and Russia.
Well, the movement in Burma, is not powerful as such. I mean, they are trying to make politics on a very, very difficult condition, which makes it even more important that there's momentum outside of the country, and that momentum is created outside of the country, I would say. So that's what a film can do. It cannot change things directly, but it can raise awareness or keep the issue alive. That's been my ambition, at least. Nobody was killed among the Burmese reporter. A Japanese reporter was killed.
Yes, the older man, right.
But it's correct that 3 and even more later on were arrested among the group of reporters that we covered. The VJs are doing an enormously important job, both inside and outside the country. To the outside world, it's simply reminding us that Burma is there, that things are going on, that they haven't given up. Also showing us that there are not only victims in Burma, there are also people who really can't have the willpower and the force and the energy to try and change their own lives. That's a big inspiration of this film. That's not only about victims and burned villages, but about people who try to do something, taking very high risk for that. That's the inspiration, I think, also beyond politics. In fact, the film is a combination of actual footage and an element of reenactment or reconstruction. Particularly on the soundtrack, you will find a lot of phone conversation, Google Talk chats going on all the time. Obviously, they were not recorded at the time; they had to be done afterwards, with the people, with the VJs that were originally involved. So they're very helpful in reenacting all the conversations they had at the moment, which allows you to have some insight, a deeper insight into what is really going on. That we all had to do in Thailand some months after.
Nowadays, DVB is funded by 9 countries, including the United States. We are getting some support from State Department through an NGO, OSI. Also, we are also getting funding from National Endowment for Democracies. So these are kind of American taxpayers' money. In that way, Americans have been helping Burmese democracy movement.
Does Open Society help you?
Yeah, Open Society. In Oslo, we have only 15 people. But in Thailand, we have 40 people. Inside Burma, we have 80 people.
Right.
So altogether in our organization, more than 120 people are working.
The big hope when the monks went into this protest was, of course, that no devout Buddhist would ever have the nerve to beat up a monk, let alone kill him. And since even the generals and their officers are Buddhists, the hope was that this might make the whole difference, that they would be able to take this force they had, the untouchable nature of them, and bring about some change. But unfortunately, and this is very shocking and traumatic to anybody who witnesses, they did not have any problem beating up a monk when it comes, even killing monks when it came to it.
When we set up our network in the country, we did not expect there might be such a revolution by the Buddhist monks, and then we did not expect that we would draw the attention from mainstream media and international public. But suddenly that happened. Of course, one time we all were unhappy and then sad that the revolution could not overthrow the regime. But on the other hand, we feel we are still success. We are happy because Burma get attention again. And then now with this BURMA VJ film, we can maintain this momentum internationally. That is important to get international awareness because the regime always want Burma to be isolated so that nobody outside know about Burma. But now we are breaking this barrier, so we are generating international awareness. This BURMA VJ film will help us maintaining international awareness.